Welcome to the ChatGPT Crash Course. This lesson will give you all the knowledge you need to get the ChatGPT results that you want. No fancy technical stuff, just the basics that will get you results. And there's one crucial thing about this course I didn't tell you in the intro lessons, and that is for the entire course, we will only use one AI tool, and that's ChatGPT. Because I've easily tried 100 different AI tools, and ChatGPT is the only tool I keep using every single day. So ChatGPT is the world's most advanced AI that we can use as consumers to create content. It's extremely simple and intuitive, and you'll be able to create world-class AI content with it. And in this course, you will learn how to prompt ChatGPT to write Twitter content, LinkedIn posts, and newsletters for you in your individual tone of voice. But before we can dive into the amazing prompts that I've created for you, we have to talk about how to use ChatGPT. Because if you only know the prompts and you don't understand how ChatGPT works, you can't adjust them to your individual use cases. But I also don't want to dive into this whole, it's a large language model that will predict blah, blah. We don't need that. I want to give you the minimal viable knowledge you need to prompt ChatGPT so you can understand, edit, and maybe even improve the prompts in this course. So first of all, we have to ask ourselves the questions, how should we think about ChatGPT? How? And maybe you've seen me post this meme before, I love it. I used to think about ChatGPT, or I think about ChatGPT as a World of Warcraft nerd. That's weird, right? But let me tell you why. So I think about it as a really smart but nerdy 15-year-old who's sitting home all day playing World of Warcraft, reading books, drinking Mountain Dew, and browsing Reddit. Because they browse the internet since they've been born, they know everything. They also talk a bit weirdly sometimes. They learn super fast. But the most important part, because they have almost no common sense or contextual awareness, because they haven't been in touch with any other humans, because they never go outside. That's ChatGPT, so it lacks context. So as long as you give it the necessary instruction and context, you can teach it and ask it almost anything. So you need to ask for it in the right way, and that's really where prompts come in. And for this, I have used another kind of metaphor, and it's prompting ChatGPT for me is like turning a shotgun into a sniper. And don't worry, it's not about any violence here, it's just about the basic concepts here. So if you look at those two prompts, they seem pretty different, right? So the first one is do customer research for me. And the next one, I won't read it out. You can just have a look at it. It's quite a lot more detailed. So before you get scared at a big prompt like this, I want you to understand that the key to prompting ChatGPT really lies in two skills. The first one is knowing exactly what you're looking for. The second one is understanding how to specify your request to get what you're looking for, to get the output that you want. And the mental model I created is turning the shotgun into a sniper. If we look at a shotgun, you can see it's hitting targets everywhere. It's very unspecific, very broad. And then the sniper on the other side hits exactly the target that we want. And I look at prompting at adding modifiers that will narrow down the scope until it becomes the sniper that will hit a small and specific target. But on the other hand, there are times where you don't want a sniper, but you may want to keep it as broad as a shotgun. And sometimes you might want to turn it into something in between with like medium accuracy and reach. So it really depends on the situation. However, most people aren't getting the results they want out of ChatGPT because they failed to prompt it specific enough. It's as if they were trying to hit a small target hundreds of meters away with a shotgun. So it just won't work. It would just go in all the other directions. Now think about the last time you tried to prompt ChatGPT, but it didn't work out well. You might have thought, this output is bad. This tweet is bad. This joke is bad, whatever. But when you say that, what you're really saying is, this output isn't specifically what I wanted. The problem is that we quite often have no idea what the fuck we want to create. But if we don't know the target we want to hit, how could we choose the right gun to hit it? So again, you master ChatGPT by becoming aware of exactly what you want it to output, and then to learn how to adjust the prompts accordingly. And once you understand this very basic paradigm, every ChatGPT prompt will just make sense to you. So lastly, I want to show you how you can make sure you'll hit your target with every single shot you take. And to do this, we will use the 5 most powerful prompt modifiers. And say hi to the little Kraken here. First of all, it seems mundane maybe, but be clear about what you want. Ask yourself, what exactly do you want ChatGPT to do? What output are you looking for? So there's a big difference in writing a LinkedIn post and writing an actionable LinkedIn post and a conversation, engaging, blah, blah, blah. You see, there's a huge difference, and I'm much clearer about what I want here. But let's go dive even deeper. That will make a lot more sense to you. So the next one is to add constraints, and that's super, super powerful. Think about setting constraints as if you're painting the borders of a box which ChatGPT will fill out for you. You give it an area to operate in, and some examples for common constraints are some stuff like word count, the maximum numbers of words, or for Twitter it might be a character count, not more than 280 characters. It could be topics. What are the topics the output should be about? And then, even more important, sometimes negative prompts, what you don't want ChatGPT to do. So let's have a look at an example here. I've added something to this post. So this was the original post. And now I've added some of the examples of constraints. So don't use exclamation marks. Use the maximum length of 200 words. Don't talk about engagement groups, because no one likes to hear about them. Focus on providing value and jumping on hot topics. So this was the second modifier about constraints. Let's get into the third one, and that is context. And this is probably the most undervalued modifier, or most underrated modifier. The one big thing ChatGPT lacks compared to a human assistant is that it can't get context on its own. Usually, when you ask someone close to you to do something, they have a pretty good contextual awareness of what's relevant and what isn't. But requesting something from ChatGPT is like asking a random Reddit user for a favor. So they don't know anything about you, so you need to explain everything from the basics up. Some common ways to give context would be to explain the purpose of your task, or to give background information about yourself or your company. Last one would be teaching ChatGPT about your audience, and that will be super helpful for the prompts that we will use later. And yes, giving context can feel time-consuming at times, but in one of the next modules, I'll show you exactly how to write your context once and use it over and over again. So be sure to listen to the next lesson, because this will be a huge time saver. So let's have a look at an example here. So we wrote this part of the prompt before, and now we talk about the context. So my audience are entrepreneurs who want to use AI to streamline their businesses and optimize their efficiency. So I'm teaching ChatGPT about my audience. I want to inspire them to take immediate action and level up their content game. So this is the purpose of the task I'm trying to reach. So, but more on that on the next module. So let's get that to the fourth modifier, and that's example. Usually the easiest way to explain to both humans and AI what you're looking for is just showing them what you're looking for. For example, the easiest way to get ChatGPT to write an actionable LinkedIn post in your tone of voice is by exactly giving it an actionable LinkedIn post in your tone of voice, and then let it learn from this. So lastly, you can see now in this prompt, this is the original prompt. We have constraints, we have some context, and now we've added a full example of some of our posts, or maybe a post that inspired us by someone else. This is completely open here. So lastly, we'll get into specifying your formatting. So formatting is about how you want to present the output. Do we want the output to use headings, to use subheadings? Should it be one sentence paragraphs? Should it be with bullet points? And output it in a table instead of text? As you will learn in the modules later about writing a newsletter in 30 minutes, formatting is how you can teach ChatGPT to write great long-form pieces exactly the way you want it. And remember, you shouldn't always feel like you have to use all the different modifiers. That's not what I want to teach you here. It's rather to look at the modifiers as different levers you can pull to just tweak your prompts to get exactly what you want. Remember, it's all about narrowing the scope or broadening the scope, but you have to know what you're looking for. You need to know the target you want to hit. All right, now you should have learned how to write better prompts. Just to give you a very short recap, it's be clear about the output, about what you want, add some constraints, think about your context and your audience context, add examples, and then be very specific about the formatting you want. And if you've done all of these, you will be able to reverse engineer a lot of the prompts you've seen out there. But yeah, thank you for going through this lesson. And let's have a little celebration at the end of each lesson. Amazing that you're here. And now it's time to dive into the next lesson, which will be about how to never write the same prompt twice and how to use my specific sets of tools so it will just save you a shitload of time. So see you in there.